Form 2 Revision Worksheet, Section 1, Measurement. Number 1, Area of Quadrilaterals. So, the first question is asking us to name the shape, put down the formula for the area, and to calculate the area. So, the first shape is a trapezium. The formula for the area of a trapezium is a half the sum of the parallel sides multiplied by the perpendicular height. So it will be a half by 8 plus 24 because those are the parallel sides, and we multiply it by the perpendicular height. So we multiply by the perpendicular height, which is 12. So our area will be a half by 32 by the perpendicular height, which gives us 16 by 12, which gives us 192 meters squared. The second shape is a parallelogram. And we know that the formula for a parallelogram is the base by the perpendicular height. So the base by the perpendicular height. So the base in this case is 8 inches and the perpendicular height is 10 inches. So therefore the area is 80 inches squared. The last shape is a kite. And we know that to find the area of the kite, we find half of the product of the two diagonals. So it will be a half by one diagonal, which will be the 6 plus the 6, which is 12, and the other diagonal, which is 16. So it will be a half by 12 by 16. That gives us 6 by 16, which gives us 96 centimeters squared. Please learn all your formulae, and also if they gave you the area of the shape and asked you for one of the lengths, please know how to work back one of the lengths as well. So if they gave you the area and they asked you for the length, you should be able to work back one of the lengths as well. Circles. So the first piece of circles we're going to look at is area of a circle. So the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared, which means pi, which in this case they're telling us is 3.14. So 3.14 multiplied by r multiplied by r. So the first question tells us that the diameter is 4 meters. So we cannot work with a diameter being 4 meters. So what we would do is we'd work out what is r. So in this question, r would be 2. So therefore the area would be equal to 3.14 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. And that gives us 12.56 meters squared. We know that circumference of a circle is either 2 by pi by r or pi by diameter. So if the circumference is 6.288, they want to know what is the circle's area. So to be able to work out the circle's area, we remember that area is equal to pi multiplied by r multiplied by r. So we have to first work out what is the r. So if 2 times 3.14 times the radius is going to give us 6.28, that means that 2 multiplied by 3.14, which is 6.28 by the radius, is equal to 6.28. So we divide both sides by 6.28 so we can figure out what the r is. And we'll get that the radius is 1 millimeter. So therefore, we could come back now to working out the area. So we know the area is 3.14 multiplied by the radius multiplied by the radius. And that will give us 3.14 millimeters squared. Alright, so length of an arc now. The diameter of the semicircle is 6 centimeters. So the first thing we should, 6 meters. So the first thing we should do is draw a diagram to help us understand what's going on. So we have a semicircle and the diameter is 6 meters, which means that the radius is 3 meters, half of 6. Sorry, 3 meters, not centimeters, half of 6. Okay, so to find the perimeter, we're going to have to find what is the length of this arc here and then add in the diameter. So we know that the whole circumference, will be equal to pi multiplied by the diameter. So that gives us 3.14 multiplied by 6. And since it's a semicircle, so the length of the arc then would be half of it. It will be half of the 3.14 multiplied by 6. And that will give us 9.42 meters. So to get the perimeter of the whole shape, it will be 9.42 plus the 6 meters, which will give us 15.42 meters. 9.42, right? The piece of this arc here, add the 6 meters to give us 15.42 meters. Okay, so next question, area of the sector. We have a semicircle and we have a radius. We have to be careful to know whether we're dealing with radius or diameter. We have a radius of 1 meter. And they want to know what is the semicircle's area. So we know the area of a whole circle is equal to pi multiplied by r multiplied by r. So if r is 1, then the area of the whole circle will be 3.14 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1. And that will give us 3.14 meters. So therefore the area of the semicircle will be half of that. 3.14 divided by 2. And that gives us 1.57 meters squared. This would have been 3.14 meters squared, sorry. Okay, so to find the area of the shaded region, we're first going to work out the area of the square. And then from that, we're going to minus the area of the circle. And when we minus those two, that is going to give us the area of the shaded region. So the area of the square is 14 by 14 side squared. So 14 by 14 gives us 196 meters squared. The area of the circle we know is pi multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. Sorry, there's a mistake there. 14 was the diameter. The radius would be 7, half of the 14. So pi multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. Always be careful whether you're working with radius or diameter. Always look out for that to know whether you're picking up the radius or you need to pick up the diameter. And that gives us 154 meters squared. So therefore the shaded region will be the 196 minus the 154, which will give us 42 meters squared. Okay, so for the last piece, they want the nets of the different shapes. We know a triangular prism will have 3 rectangles and a triangle, 2 matching triangles on the end. We know that a cylinder has 1 big rectangle and 2 identical circles to the end. We know that there are several ways to draw a cube. The most common one is 4 squares and 2 squares sticking out to the side. And the last one, cuboid, is just like the cube except that it is rectangles instead of squares. And that will be the nets for the different shapes. And that brings us to the end of section 1, measurement revision.